Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. It's Friday, the 30th of August. It's 1 minute past 10, which means, by my reckoning, there's 59 minutes left in the transfer window for the summer of 2024. There's loads and loads and loads of stuff going on at the moment. And we will get to them all, and we'll keep you updated on moves and stuff like that. We'll chat about Liverpool, we'll chat about other moves around the Premier League and across Europe, and we'll bring you up to 11 o'clock. And once 11 o'clock hits, we're going. Okay, no messing. 11 o'clock, it's closed and we're out. Right, that's how it's going to work. Ashley, Chris and Kev have joined me for tonight. Ashley, I'm going to start with you. We are 58 minutes away from the window closing, and it doesn't look like Liverpool are going to make any more moves in this transfer window. They've loaned out Ben Doak to Middlesbrough today. They've loaned out Nat Phillips to Derby today. By Chet, it was confirmed last night / today to RB Salzburg. I'm trying to think if there's any more that we've got rid of. The only rumour flying around was that Nottingham Forest were looking for Queevy and Kelleher, but Liverpool, it looks like they will not do any more business before 11 p.m. What's your feelings on this?
I think the other one you were looking for was Cade Gordon. He went on loan to Norwich.
Yeah.
So with that little bit of housekeeping out of the way, I think that we can all safely say that we are disappointed. I don't think anyone is going to sit here tonight and tell you this was a 10 out of 10 window. I don't think any one of us believes that. I don't think any of the other contributors to this channel believes that. And I think all of us are looking at this thinking, we didn't address the issues that we had. We added depth in areas that we kind of were already okay. And I'm looking at this kind of being like, well, you guys have made your bed and whatever happens, happens. So I don't really have any sympathy if we have issues with some sort of injury crisis down the road, because I think we're leaving ourselves short personally. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to echo the same thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to echo the same thing. Chris, I was looking there earlier, and quick calculations, not absolutely to the number, but I think Liverpool have probably taken 15 million off their wage budget from this time last year. When you take in Matip and you take in Thiago, but you counterbalance that a little bit with Chiesa, but then you have those players that have all left. And some of them on loan, fine, but some of them that have left on decent enough money. So you're probably looking around the 15 million. On transfers, I think we're probably up 50. Would we be up 50? Close to that?
Something like that. And it's 25 on.
Yeah, so let's call it 40. It could be. So I didn't go through exact numbers. And we sit here with a goalkeeper that'll join us next year, and we sit here with Chiesa. That's signed. And there's a lot of players gone out. Not an awful lot of them, if any. That would have made a huge difference to our 4-team squad on a regular basis. It's disappointing, Chris. There's no other way to dress this up. It's just disappointing, and I agree with Ashley. Don't get me wrong. From Sunday, I'll be Liverpool can win every single game, and that's the way I am. But I think the Joe Gomez thing is bandied around a bit, but that won't happen. But I agree with Ashley. I think we've left ourselves short, and I think we're putting names into the mix in midfield, in particular, for the sake of putting names into the mix with regards to this squad.
Yeah, I think it's underwhelming. I think they went into the window from when we did that. I know it was a bit of a transfer game, but we all kind of had the same idea of, as long as, like, say, Kelleher stayed, we'd probably like a centre back who's more available than what we have, a holding midfielder, and if we could supplement the attack, cracking. If not, so be it. They've future-proofed the keeper, which on its own makes sense.
Yep.
They've had a Chiesa, who's a really good player, and you know what? In terms of squad depth for attack, we're pretty well stocked now. But that was the third priority. They definitely wanted a midfielder. I know people are very angry and, kicking off at the owners. I mean, I'm more frustrated with the guys whose job it is to bring people in. But their actions said they wanted a midfielder because they went for Zubimendi. I do find it baffling that I get they're saying they only can find players who are better than what they've got. but I'm pretty certain you can find someone who maybe is not as good as Zubimendi, but it's better than Endo. And do you know what? There is this thing in football where you can buy a guy and 18 months down you can flip him. Plenty of other clubs do it. Doing it on the occasion is not the worst thing. So, yeah, it's disappointing because I think they solved the problem that we didn't know was there, but the two biggest holes in the squad they've left. So, and we're now at the point where I know what you're saying. We're now going. We might have to use Tyler Morton and young Naoni, and that's probably unfair. But that pressure's on them now. Because I'll be honest, I'd rather Tyler Morton start than Endo in this current system because I just don't think the way we play now under Slot will suit him. The role of Endo now is cup games and to come on to close games out when it's like a tight lead. But I don't want him starting many games just because the way we play now. The way we played under Klopp would actually suit his style more. This one doesn't. So I thought they'd bring one more in because I thought it was slightly odd to almost like rush to get the medical done for Chiesa, like he's there till 1 a.m. Next day, 2 p.m. It's out. And like, if you're going to do nobody else, what's the rush? Which makes me think they were looking at somebody else, but why leave it so late? I get the opportunistic thing, but there's also, you've got to sort of bite the bullet a bit quicker. So I think they've tried to be a bit too clever. Edwards and Hughes, and I think they've been caught out.
Kev, we spoke, all of us spoke at the start of the summer with regards to the squad. We all felt, you replace Matip and you replace Thiago. And look, there's not an awful lot of replacing in Thiago because of the amount of minutes he played, and Matip has a serious injury. But when you looked at, I think Matip's loss was felt badly towards the back end of last season for me. Konate was constantly having to be rested. Young Kwanzaa was playing. You had Gomez filling in left and right. You had Van Dijk not getting any rest in his football. He's just playing, and he's not getting any. He's not getting any younger. And we felt go and do that. They've kind of brought Gomez back into the centre back fold to be that Matip replacement, and that's their decision. But you'd still have doubts over a couple of those centre halves for varying reasons. You look at midfield and you think, okay, they brought in quite a few midfielders last summer, but one of them genuinely just doesn't work. It only took 20 minutes to look at him at Betis and go, just this doesn't work for what we want. He probably works if you're trying to close out a game or keep things tight or whatever it might be. And you felt they're the two big spots. And a lot of us at the start of the summer also said, and maybe a forward will leave and we'll bring one in because 5 was kind of the number. We've ended up with 6 and that's a positive. But we were talking about this, Kev, earlier, and I've nothing against Tyler Morton and I've nothing against Trey Naoni. I think they're two really, really good footballers. But they were at the football club when we tried to sign Zubimendi. They're still at the football club and we've decided now everything's absolutely fine. Like, it's... Yeah. I know you can say, and you made a good point earlier, they look at the amount of numbers they have in midfield. They look at the amount of people they're paying in midfield. But as a club to go out and look for a midfielder, to turn around and go, we have 8, or we have whatever it is. It would be 8 including those two. It just, the evidence just doesn't add up. Simply doesn't, Kev. In my opinion.
No, you're not going to get... You go back to the start of the window, and we lost Matip and Thiago, or 2 senior players, out of the club, off the wage bill, out of the club. Everyone else that they've sold wouldn't really affect the first team squad anyway. So we all said, myself included, at the start of the window, needed to replace those 2. I mean, a forward wasn't even on my radar. It wasn't.
It was for me if someone left.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Same as everyone else. We all thought Diaz might be up for the job because he was out for now.
Someone will come in, yeah.
Diaz will go, we'll bring someone in. Never in a million years did I think that person would be Chiesa. And there's your opportunistic signing, because Chiesa for £10 million is an absolute snip. You couldn't you couldn't walk out the shop and leave that behind you, to be rude. So the rest of it, though, Chris sent us, he put in a link to the actual squads of the clubs who finished in the top 3 last year. And we've the same amount of centre-backs at the club as Man City. We have the same amount of midfielders as what Man City have. And we have 3 more midfielders than what Arsenal have. Arsenal have more defenders, and they will have the same amount of strikers. forwards is what we have. The issue is with the quality. You could have upgraded on Endo, no doubt. You could have got Manu Kone moved to Roma in the last couple of days. Wasn't massive money. He would have done a very similar job to what Endo does for us. He closes out games. The defensive midfielder isn't the best on the ball, but he'd have cost you 10 million more than what you'd have recouped for Endo, and probably a good bit more in wages to sit there and come on for 20 minutes at the end of a game and shut a game out. That's what he would have done for you. Whereas he'll go to Roma and he'll start and he'll play every week. That's the conundrum you have. It's Zubamendi is a top tier, top level operator who would have been better than what Gravenberch has shown so far. But Gravenberch so far shown that he might be able to develop and evolve into the position and grow into it. We don't know. He won't grow into it and do anything like that if he sat on the bench watching from the sidelines. So that's a risk they're willing to take, because all of the decisions that they've made over the summer, it is literally now on their heads be it. This is the side that they've put together and assembled and said, this is the side that can challenge in the Champions League, that can put a challenge in for a title and go along in the domestic cups. That's what they've said by the money and the investment that they've decided to go with this summer. And that's what they'll be judged on ultimately. We can all say, and look, we could have definitely signed better quality players. But at the minute, we have 25 senior players supplemented by 3 others, by 3 younger players to supplement that with 27, 28. And that's about the same as what we used last year, ballpark. And it was good enough to win a cup, get the last 8 of the Europa League, and ran out of steam towards the end of a title run with everything else that went on around it.
Yeah.
That's where we are. That is where we are at the minute.
That's where we are at the minute, yeah. But
yeah.
So DBA with Super Chat says Hughes needs to have a word with himself. We are short in midfield and defence. In attack, we are the best of the best, his opinion. But a VVD Kanate injury or a McAllister Gravenberch injury, and we are fighting for the top 6, in his opinion, right? I get the whole numbers thing. And we haven't been short about letting players go out on loan or be sold, okay? Sorry, if your hand up in the air.
Yeah. Obligation. The Chelsea deal for Jadon Sancho is going to go through with an obligation clause. It's a loan with an obligation to buy at £25 million.
Jesus Christ, that's a serious loss.
That's a massive hit, isn't it?
Anyway,
look, if I see anything, I'll just stick my hand up.
Try your hand up, yeah. So there is names floating about, and they are going to happen in the next hour, so we'll keep you up to date as much as we can. And anyone in the chat that sees anything, by all means, fling it in there. We'll talk about it as it goes. And I get where you're coming from with the numbers, right? And we haven't been short about letting players go out. And I've no problem with the players that have gone out. Will they make an impact? No. You're kind of looking at League Cup and you're saying maybe they make it do something there, but this is not what they want to do. That's absolutely fine. Let a few of them go out on loan and progress. I think the biggest one of them is probably Stefan Bojcetic, which is a good move for him. Slot has explained it. Fine, no problem. But when I look at it, Kev, and I get the numbers thing and I get all that, but like we've had Joe Gomez not travel to Ipswich on the 4th day of the season because he's considering his options. Okay, we have. Like, if you go through it, we have a centre-half that literally had to be wrapped in cotton wool week on week on week last season in Ibrahim Kanate. We have a centre-back in Kwanzaa who I think is fantastic, but he's still so young. And we have a 4th centre-back who's 33-odd years of age. Okay? Mm-hmm. And I know 33 is not what he used to be. 33 is like being, 29, going back 10, 15 years ago. But you've seen it last year. They gave Van Dijk's break as much as they could, right?
Yeah.
And okay, if they want to say, do you know what, we're really happy with those centre-halves, right? But there's a guy literally considering his future 2 weeks ago, and we decided not to do anything there. You go into midfield, okay, and you say to yourself, right, we let a few go again. We've seen, like Tyler Morton features like bit part in pre-season, okay? Doesn't get on the bench, I don't think, against Brentford. Don't even think he's on the bench against Ipswich, right? No. And it's clear that Endo can't do what we want him to do here. So that doesn't add
But
up.
that's not strictly true. If Endo's job is to come in and see games out, that's what his job is going to be.
Okay,
he's not going to be able to come in and start games.
Yeah.
For
Like
Gravenberch.
Mm-hmm. So what you're going to leave?
McAllister will have to do that.
But what you're going to leave yourself here with is you're going to leave yourself with the midfield three you have. Okay, let's call it Szoboszlai, McAllister, Gravenberch, right?
Yeah.
And I've said it. I think Gravenberch will be next in the first two games. It'll be interesting to see him on Sunday in what I see as a bigger challenge to the first two games. But if any of these players go down, now you're into Jones, who can't seem to stay fit, right? And I don't think he can sit deep anyway. I think he's more of an 8. I think that's becoming a little bit apparent in this team.
I think he can do what McAllister does.
A little bit ahead of maybe a Gravenberch.
As long as someone is behind him, yeah.
But you're relying on a guy now, and this for me is going back to, I want Curtis Jones. I want them all to be brilliant. But my worry over Curtis Jones is niggly injury here, niggly injury there. But I'm okay with that if I bring in another midfielder. Because I say to myself, I'm not knocking him down the pecking order. I'm just saying I have absolute quality there if Curtis Jones is picked one week and can't play the next, or you want to switch it around.
Yeah.
But outside of Curtis Jones, and now you're into Endo territory, now you're into Naoni territory, and now you're into Morton territory. And it's just, Kev, it's not going to do it. It's not going to do it. Like, if we have to play Trey Naoni in 10 league games this season, although he's a fantastic prospect, it's not going to do it.
It's not. It's not. It's not ideal. And
the first thing the club tried to do this summer, when August turned around, was they went for Martin Zubamendi. And that was a clear indication. Our main priority here is a central midfielder. It's a central midfielder. That's our main thing we're going for. And it doesn't happen. And then they just go, nah, it's fine. It's fine. You know what I mean?
Did anyone else move since the Zubamendi deal went through? That you've gone, shit, we've really missed out on this.
But that's not the point.
Well, that's exactly the point.
No, it's not, because you can't just
it goes to show.
Yeah, but then we get
those players aren't out there.
But they are out there. If you want to go and get them, they are.
If they were out there, they'd have moved.
But if that's the case, then Zubamendi wasn't out there, because Zubamendi apparently is out telling, giving all these signals that he doesn't want to leave San Sebastian.
All the talk over the last 2 days was Varela. Varela,
that was just made up.
No, I know it was just made up. But this was all the talk the last 2 weeks, right? Last window, it was Andre. And Andre has gone to Wolves. I mean, not exactly a powerhouse, not exactly going to pull up any trees at any major club. No club that's playing European football decided to look at Fluminense and think, you know what, that guy who played a couple of games for Brazil, Andre, he could be something decent. He could be something worth taking a gamble on. No, nobody did.
I know that. But
the type of player that they're targeting, and you have to take them on their word, because otherwise, what's the point?
Okay, let's take them on their word for a second. There's no way Liverpool Football Club, as an entity for recruitment, ran all the data that they love, by the way, ran all the data, and the only thing that popped up was Martin Zubamendi. Simply not.
But what I'm saying to you is, there's nobody else of a similar type of player to him that does what he does, sitting in front of a back four, ball playing centre half, who's gone and moved. Cooper Miners is probably one that you could maybe convert into that role, but he doesn't do that role. De Jong is another one. De Jong was another one.
But it's not a case of they have to move for us to be interested in them. You know what I mean? Like, if they're going into Zubamendi, they go in and they say, we're going for this guy. Listen, this isn't going to work. Whatever. And we're going to go to this guy. Do you know what I mean? We're going to go to that guy. But they've seen
but who is this guy and who is that guy?
But that's not my job, Kev.
I watch a lot, but we watch a lot of football.
I don't.
And there's a lot of people in the chat who watch a lot of football.
Yeah.
Tell me who these players are. Because I can't think for the life of me.
But that's not your job.
But also,
I think João Neves is the one that moved that could have done that job.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, gone to PSG for 60
He's the one
million.
that was for sale, and that we didn't do the groundwork there, but he's the one that's moved this summer that I think he could have done that job.
Yeah.
But also,
oh no, 100%. We've said it before the Euros that he would have been ideal. When we were doing the preview shows for the Euros, he would have been perfect. But at the same time, he chose PSG.
Yeah. But the way to look at it, though, is if they run all the data in their model, whatever their model is, it'd be something quite sophisticated, and it says Zubimendi is the best option, and whatever other options are available, then as a team you go, but we are still short there. Then in my world, which is data, is you relook at your model a little bit and go, what if we tweak the model? What if we, of the 10 things, say this player has to hit, which one is the least important? Whatever that will be, maybe it's aerial ability, as an example. If we take it out, that would give you options which are below Zubimendi, but then you put them against Endo stats, go, but they're above him. So it's also a willingness from the recruitment team of how flexible are they? Or, do we also look at it as this the third year we've missed out on a central defensive midfielder, so maybe we need to take a little bit of a risk and perhaps look at a slightly different way?
Yeah, like my thing is, and the natural thing to do is look at Zubimendi and go 51 million. What is the second option cheaper? The second option probably isn't cheaper. Second option is probably more expensive, but it's their second option. The sort of way. And like, I understand players moved and you kind of look and go, nah, not for us, not for us. Like I remember people going bananas at Onana, going to Villa for 50 million, and people going, he'd have been brilliant at Liverpool. Probably would, but them selling to us is nearly literally no go. Like, it's, rare as hen's teeth, them moves between Everton and Liverpool. But what I'm saying is that if you're going to show your hand, we want a midfielder, and they go all that way with Zubimendi, they can't be sitting there with one guy on a list. They can't literally go, that's the list done, and listen, we're just going to go without a midfielder. There has to be more than that. And I think that's, like, I'd be more okay with it if they'd just come out and went, no, we're fine on midfield. We're absolutely fine on midfield. We're not going anywhere with regards to midfield. And we'd all go, well, disappointed, but I think they've put their hand out to be slapped with regards to midfield. That's where I feel now. And I'm praying to God that all these players stay fit. I'm praying to God they don't get suspended, because, like, honestly, we will literally have to change the way we play if Endo walks onto that pitch to start a game for Liverpool. We just will. And it's not that far down the road. It's not the most outlandish thing to think when you look at the makeup of the team and the reliability of some of them, that Endo starts in midfield. And not only that, if you throw in, and don't get me wrong, Bojcetic, Conor Bradley have come into this team over the last 2 years, and they've shone in teams that one was really struggling, one wasn't. But they've shone, and maybe Trey Ione can do that, and maybe Tyler Morton can do that. But we're going to players that literally were brought on a tour as a 16 or 17-year-old, and we're going to a fella that played for Hull last season and didn't get much of a look in pre-season, but to come on for a few minutes here and there, and all of a sudden it's like, no, there's no better option than him. We're just going to keep him as our 6th, 7th, 8th.
I think you're more likely, if we have to use someone else in midfield, you're more likely to see Trent and McAllister as a double six with Szoboszlai or Harvey Elliott in front of them and Conor Bradley at right back than you are to see them starting meaningful games.
We'll have to wait and see, and that's Brian.
That's the thing. We're all in that boat now.
Yeah, and look,
one thing that is interesting about the midfield situation is we're sitting here and we're talking about there isn't another 6 out there, and then Liverpool are looking at our team and they're like, well, we can take this Gravenberch player who's sort of a 6, sort of an 8, and then we can bring him back into the 6 and we can mold him how we want. Why can't they look at the transfer window that same way? Why couldn't they look a little bit outside of the box? Or if they've decided that Gravenberch is their 6 and they want to stick with that, why not look at the 8 position then? And why not expand your midfield options there? I don't think it's quite, we've narrowed it down to this one black and white player with Zubimendi, but like the whole world of midfielders are there. There are some that might fit better in our system, but there's more than one.
I think there is more than one, but like, I think, if you like Kev said, if you take them at face value and that's the player they wanted, that's the one they feel, out of every player out there that this is the one we want, and it didn't happen. You know, does another player magically appear in 6 months that they go, oh, man, that's actually the guy? Does another player appear in a year? Oh, no, that's the guy. You know, the sort of way. Are we just going to wait until Zubimendi decides, and I've had enough of those lovely mountains and field, and move on? You know what I mean? And come to Liverpool. It seems I've no issue with when a club decides we're happy with what we have, we're going to go with it, because they live and die by these decisions. But when they throw something out there and it's so obvious that they're going for something and it doesn't come off, that they just go, that's it, wipe off midfield, forget about it. We go and do somewhere else.
I don't know about everyone else. I'm not as worried about with midfield as you guys are. I'm more worried about centre back. Last season, even with Joel Matip was there, Joe Gomez was a fifth choice option. I was happy enough for that. It was fine. At the minute, you've got your 4 centre backs, and the next centre back on the rung now is Nalo, the kiddie who was on pre-season.
Yeah,
that's a risk. That's a savage risk, because at least when you had 4 plus Joe, it was like a safety blanket. This is literally the Band-Aid is ripped off. Those 4 are it. There is no break glass option. That if you get a red card and an injury, you're down to 2 centre backs, and it's conceivable that you will get a red card and a penalty or and an injury at some point in the season.
Yeah, but the ratio...
I'm more worried about that than I am midfield, because I think midfield you can work around it. You can make things work in other ways. At centre back, you really are up against it.
Yeah, look, it's one that's going to rattle on and on. You know, as the season goes on, I've no doubt when we lose a game, we're gonna have a chat around midfield, and people are going to go upset about midfield and centre halves. But my thing I'm with you on the centre halves. By the way, I'm very rocky over the centre half situation. I'm loving how we're playing football. I'm loving at what we're trying to do. But I just feel, do you know what it feels like? I think if they all stay fit, I think you have a great chance. I really, really do, for what he's trying to do and the players you have there. I think you have a great chance. I think sometimes we downplay the ability of our players at times, but you still have to look at, you know, what's his availability like. Like, we literally never stop talking about Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Naby Keita and the lack of availability from them. And every time we needed them, they just weren't there. And I'm looking at centre halves, and I'm thinking you probably have 2 reliable out of 4. And then I'm looking at midfield, and even if you add up midfield, you're probably looking at 3 reliables out of them 6. You know, Gravenberch has had his issues, although one of them is a horror tackle in the League Cup final. Szoboszlai had his issues last year, but that was probably bedding into it, the pace of the Premier League and the amount of games he was being asked to play and all that sort of stuff. Jones has his issues. And now you're down to Elliott and Endo and as players, individuals, I think great. I'm okay with them in the squad for certain things, but I'm not okay with multiples of them having to start games. And you're not that far away from it. You really aren't. I think one more in midfield just I'm not saying staves off having to play these players. I'm just saying it staves off having to play multiples of these players in this system. And I think that's where I feel we are. Other transfers though, let me remember a few, and you can all throw them at me as you go. Mason Holgate, a deal to Lyon fell through, but he's now attracting attention from West Brom and Sheffield Wednesday for a loan deal. Everton are loaning that guy that I shouldn't call them Notts Forest, shouldn't I? Nottingham Forest have sold.
They don't like it when you call him Notts Forest.
Is it Mangala? Is that his name?
Yeah. So
Nottingham Forest sold him to Lyon at the start of the summer. Now he's being loaned to Everton, which is a bit of a diddle, but fair play to them. Sure, look at Chelsea. You've just mentioned Sancho there. Sterling is being linked with Arsenal on a loan move. Is there any more you want to throw at me?
Didn't Chelsea try and sell someone to a club they also own, and then it fell through?
Oh, they tried to sell some guy named Washington.
It fell
to Strasbourg, wasn't it?
Yeah. Has that fallen through? I haven't seen if that's fallen through.
Apparently it fell through, which I thought is really funny. Trying to sell to yourself and it still falls through, which is quite clever.
Well, weren't they trying to sell for like several £1 million more than they just bought him? And he
Well,
had
for
only
3
played
million-
like
that's
half a
3
game.
Bought him for 16, trying to sell it for 22, and he'd had him in a year. It's like, yeah, interesting.
Sure.
25 minutes of football for them as well.
Yeah.
Reece Nelson is leaving Arsenal to join Ipswich. Ipswich are a weird one because apparently they've gone in for your man Broja from Chelsea.
It fell through. It fell through because he's.
Well, no, they've gone back for it. They went back for it.
But they've gone back for it for a loan now rather than a buy because I think.
So did I see Kepa going to Bournemouth?
Kepa's gone to Bournemouth. Neto.
And Neto, Arsenal have taken Neto from Bournemouth on loan.
Yeah.
And sold Ramsdale to Southampton.
Southampton.
Jesus.
Have you heard the good thing about Neto though? So you think you buy Neto because he's your cup keeper, isn't he? That's kind of the point of him. He played the League Cup midweek, so he's cup side. So he can only play from now in the League, Champions League, or FA Cup. And I don't think they want to play him in the League or the.
But I also read somewhere that there's an obligation.
Option
boy
for
at the
him.
end.
It's an option, I think.
Is it? Okay, all right.
All of that happened because Arsenal tried to do a deal to sign a keeper from Espanyol for €20 million. Thought that was agreed. Let Ramsdale go to Southampton. Then went back to Espanyol. Espanyol turned around and said, "No, his buyout is €30 million. You hung up the phone too quick, and now they're stuck €30 million or nothing." That's why they ended up going to Neto because there was no other options.
Ugarte to United has been.
That's confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Andre to Wolves looks like Wolves are putting out the stuff now to say that's done.
Yeah. People are asking, will Ugarte be available for Sunday? I think he would.
No.
No, he's not.
No, I don't think so.
No, he has to be registered by midday today.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was midday the day after.
Is that why maybe we rushed through the Chiesa deal?
Possibly.
Maybe. But then you what's his name? Arne Slot said no, don't see him really being in the squad Sunday.
I mean, why else was he there at like 2:00 in the morning?
I just felt it felt to me
he was
like
doing a lot of the media work last night.
The cameraman was probably heading off for the weekend. He's like, lads, sort this out. I'm on bleeding.
I've got a wedding booked here.
I'm on leave tomorrow. Gavin Watts is there. Ugarte is not available on Sunday, so that's interesting.
Yeah, but United have had that lined up since Wednesday, so I think that's why their fans are a bit pissed off. Is like we could have had him fit. We could have had him available for the weekend, so he's not. Which I think they're a bit. And
it looks like Victor Osimhen to Chelsea has fallen through.
He's staying where he is.
Apparently, they said no agreement, but there's new proposals gone, and it looks like that Chelsea are going to finish the window without signing a striker that they needed.
They probably have signed somewhere, we just haven't missed it in the 12 they signed. I seen the other day they signed another goalkeeper. I was like, what's going on here? But they just keep doing it. They don't give a fuck.
It's
Fair play to them. When you look through it, then I haven't seen much around Spurs. I haven't. I did see.
They did a lot of business early.
Yeah, and I seen.
The Celso's gone, and they brought someone in from. They brought someone in from Spain. I can't remember his name, but the guy the European expert that they had on Sky Sports reckons he's actually a tasty player. I'll find out for you in a minute.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think it was more like let us have Lo Celso, and you can have this guy in with a fee. I don't know who.
So this is David Wright. David Wright in the chat says Spurs bet this deal for Lo Celso and Johnny Cardozo.
That's the one.
Is a bit mad. It's like a bit of a swap deal, is it? Or?
It is. It isn't because I think the Lo Celso bit is a loan, but they've paid a small fee for Cardozo. But if Spurs are going in for the weekend, and they've got no strikers fit. Solanke's is still injured, and Richarlison has got a knock as well.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen, like I said, around Spurs. Newcastle then, I read something earlier saying Newcastle can't get Mark Guehi, and now they're trying to sign a winger. And I was like, oh, okay.
They tried to sign your man from Forest, was it Igala? Or...
Oh, the lad that was he? Did he used to be with United?
He was at Manchester United. Yeah, he was at Manchester United.
Yeah,
they tried to sign him, and Forest rejected it. So,
okay.
That's
and
just insane.
of course, you had the Queeveen Kelleher stuff with Forrest that we've seen as well, but that seems to have died
They
down.
tried to give us Matt Taylor in return.
Yeah, or Matt, what's his name? Turner, is it?
Matt Turner,
Yeah.
he's moved as well, isn't he? He's gone
to
somewhere
Palace.
as well.
He's gone to Palace.
And Palace have done well because it looks like they're holding on to Mark Guy, and they've signed there was another centre back. Chalobah.
They've signed Chalobah from Chelsea on loan,
Yeah.
and they've signed Lacroix from Wolfsburg for €18 million.
Yeah, Alanga. Dan Bailey says.
Alanga, that's him,
yeah. But the Newcastle stuff was a bit weird. It was like Mark Guy, it's like 2 weeks to just keep constantly going after him, and then it hasn't happened. And look, there's 25 or so minutes left. 35 million they rejected for Alanga, says Kev B.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that is a big price.
Will Zaha's confirmed deal from Galatasaray to
Lyon?
to Lyon.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And he went there in a free, didn't he? Last season.
Yeah, but he can't.
Yeah.
He couldn't come back to England because of tax reasons, wasn't it? Because
So he's doing a year.
So it's a loan, I think, right?
I think he's doing.
Lyon?
It won't surprise me in a year's time he's back in England.
Yeah, so he's doing a loan, getting a little South of France job for a year, and then lads, I'm coming back now. With all my tax-free money. It's nice, yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Brian
Sounds
O'Sullivan
nice.
says 22 minutes. Okay, Brian, relax. Brian's constantly giving us times. We've a big clock in front of us here.
Even Perisic has gone to Como, along
Perisic?
with along with all the other pension players. Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing a right job
I mean,
there.
Como's average age must be about 47.
Did they sign Varane, or did he go to?
They signed Varane. Yeah, I'm gonna get it up actually. I just want to have a look at their squad list.
Yeah,
because
it's a bit mad. Yeah.
Is that James Milner's next team, maybe?
Yeah, Brian.
After
Brian-
another move, yeah.
Yeah, Brian says Sterling to Arsenal is pointless. They need backup to Saka. Sterling is not a right winger. He can do a bit on both sides, but my thing is,
I think Arsenal need a proper number 9.
but they don't play with one. And every
think
time
they
they
need-
have a chance to play with Jesus, they go for the German fella, Havertz. Yeah, and the only worry I'd have if you're bringing in Sterling is you could piss Martinelli off. And I think he's their best player. Honestly, I think Martinelli is their best player.
I think he's inconsistent. That's the only thing. I think Martinelli's inconsistent.
I think he's been poor the last year, though.
I think he's so fucking good.
Might
I think
do-
he's so good.
It might do some good though for the competition. Sometimes
It might do, but
knocks you up a level, doesn't it, sometimes?
yeah, I always had this feeling that Saka or Martinelli will end up. One of them will end up at Manchester City.
Saka will end up with
Very soon.
Throw you a few names now,
Yep.
right?
Go on,
Andrea Bellotti,
Oh yeah,
Patrick Catrone.
right.
Where are you?
Is this the team that is Fabregas knocking around there as well?
I think he's our manager. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Alberto Moreno,
Oh,
Alberto Dacina. I hope to God he's related. That'd be the crack.
are they in Europe?
Varane. No, they've only just got promoted. Pepe
Oh,
Reina's
have
there.
Right. So
Pepe
they're having
Reina's
the crack.
41 now.
Jeez.
It's like the Premier League players of yesteryear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they've walked into an after dinner circuit, you know, the after dinner speaking circuit, and they've just went right. All yous on the stage. We're starting a new team. Come on over here and talk and play for us.
Great place to live in Paris.
It's a bit mad. But fair play to them. They've gone to some big names, and they're probably looking at them to be experienced, keep them up. You know, if they've only been promoted and then look to bring in some younger players as it goes.
Billy Gilmore's gone to Napoli. And
I watched him at the weekend. I thought he was brilliant against United.
He's a really tidy footballer. And the thing is, I see a bit of Tyler Morton in Billy Gilmore. They're very similar players. But it'd be interesting to see how he gets on in Italy with Scott McTominay as well.
Yeah.
Because it's good that the two of them are together and the two of them will play in the same side. And, you know, that'll be good to see. But it'll be good to see, to gauge where the Italian league is. if
I'm
you see
amazed.
these players really thrive.
I'm amazed that United let McTominay go, and I'm
Gods.
amazed nobody in England took a punt on him and went for him. Like,
Yeah,
honestly,
me too.
like this, like you can say what you want to get about Manchester United and McTominay and stuff, but I watch him playing for United. The amount of crucial goals he gets with them, their tempo goes up immediately when he comes on the pitch. He's a good footballer. He can play off the front. He can play deep. He can play as an eight. He's really I
Although
think I
Ten
just think
Hag,
yeah,
Ten Hag
but,
played PSR. Why they had to sell him?
yeah, but the
They had
thing
to
is,
sell. They had to sell someone. I think it's because they couldn't sell Casemiro because nobody wanted him.
yeah, but when I look at him, like even when I'm watching him, I think he's very tactically aware. I remember watching them away at City. Remember last year were they beaten? They went 1-0 up early, but I think they might have been beaten. And they were playing so narrow and so deep, and it was a mad way they set up. But McTominay was the one telling everybody where to be, what to do and stuff. He really understands the game, and I just can't understand how nobody in England went, you know what, McTominay, like Nace is there, Fulham tried to get him. But like, why didn't they get him? He's gone for like 30 million quid or something. And I know it's not an awful lot of money.
I'm sure United asked for more, but they went Fulham bid for it.
Yeah,
I think maybe let's cut the losses a little.
yeah, like
The talk is Rabiot might be going to AC Milan.
oh,
Surprised he's
Rabiot.
not moved soon.
Yeah,
Surprised he's not
Rabiot's
moved sooner actually. AC Milan apparently, but there's no rush.
Well,
to
he's
get him
at Juventus, isn't he? And
he's on a free. He's free.
he's on a free.
So,
Yeah, they're basically said you can go on a free. I think he has a year left in his deal, but they'll let him go. I think that's the case. But is there anybody?
Just looking through.
The thing
Ivan
with
Toney
McTominay
going to
that's-
Saudi.
Go on,
Going
actually.
to Saudi?
Ivan
I was
Toney.
just gonna say the thing with McTominay that's interesting is I think they're losing like a culture setter there. Like he's one of the few that works hard and shows up in a game and works hard. And I think about the players that they bring in. I don't see anyone filling that role, and I don't think they have anyone in their team that's gonna like kind of be their James Milner. And so I think he's the one that kind of showed up when the going got tough and pulled them over the line in a lot of games. And so, yeah, he's not a shiny name or anything, but he did a lot of hard graft, and I don't think they have that in their team.
he's still playing. You need your squad. Every squad needs that type of player.
Yeah.
Not fancy,
I
but
don't know.
does as well.
I'm just surprised they let him go.
Yeah, have any of us been surprised at the lack of movement at City?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Gundogan fixes a lot of problems.
Gundogan and
Knows the
Savio
club.
come in.
Yeah.
Alvarez
Gundogan
goes
fixes
out.
a lot of problems because he knows the club inside out. He is pure quality. You know, he can play anywhere in midfield. He can play as a false nine if you need him to. Savio looks like the real deal.
Yeah, he looks good.
He looks a really good player. The problem for them could come if they lose Haaland for a period of time. But
Yes, they don't have
When you-
that was the benefit of Alvarez, wasn't it? He could play as the 9 if you needed him to, or he could play as a 10. He was quite a handy player to have, really.
yeah, I was just genuinely surprised that normally you expect Man City to come in and go bang on one player. You know, and they didn't. They never did. You know, I honestly expected them to come in, especially after selling Alvarez for the fee that they did and for the amount of minutes that he played last season. I think he played like 45 games or so, 46 games. So I expected him to be replaced some way, shape, or form, especially when Oscar Bob got injured.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought that was a straight away. It was a trigger for them to go and get a forward in some shape or form. A couple of people mentioned Matt Hummels here. He's been offered around. I think Sociedad tried to get him and he turned that deal down.
talk is Brighton might be getting him now.
Yeah, and Brighton have done some serious business, but like, actually, like you're going to get an awful lot of people saying, you know, City haven't done much business. You know, it's a precursor for the whole thing that's going to start next month. I think, the middle of September. I think. Is it that, or does Pep just think, no, I'm happy with what I have. That's what I'm going with? Because City usually just, when they win a league, they usually just go, we're just throwing 2 in there. 2 more added in, and we just get them into the squad over time, over the first 2 months, and then we're all going again. But to lose Alvarez, I think, is a big loss. They lose Bob, who was showing serious potential. They bring in Gundogan, absolutely fine, good player. But I did think City would just look to stamp their authority again, and they haven't.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's probably half and half. I'm sure that there's some element where there's a cloud hanging over that club. And if I was a top level Premier League footballer, I wouldn't want to be associating myself with that, especially not as they're going into this. I just think there's a lot of noise going around, and I think that, you know, obviously money is one thing, and if you're driven by money, that might be something different. But I personally wouldn't be advising anyone to go do that. I think the other thing is City have such they have like this wealth of youth talent that I don't really like. They just pull them out of nowhere. All of a sudden Oscar Bob pops on the scene and you're like, wow, like he looks fantastic and he looks ready to step up. I don't know if they've got more of those players tucked into their team than kind of the average person knows about. I think that Pep probably knows that team inside and out, and if he wanted another person over the line, he probably could have gotten one. But I feel like he's the kind of tactician that's like, well, I'm going to do something clever, and he'll come up with something that'll make it work. And we're all probably going to be like, oh, wow, like, you know, here's this new way forward. But yeah, it does. They look short to me, but I mean, Pep is the genius. You've got to kind of trust him.
Next level says Nketiah to Palace has been confirmed. Good deal for all parties. Is that a sale or a loan?
Sale.
It's a sale, yeah, because I know Nketiah's wages looked like it might have been a massive issue. But I think, wasn't there a couple of clubs, maybe in Ipswich, looking at Edward off Palace?
I think he might be going to the Championship. Where did I see that? He might go into Leicester.
No, Leicester in the Premier League.
Leicester in the Premier League now, yeah. So he might be going to Leicester. Was last time.
He might be Championship next year.
Yeah. So that's what they've done there. They've moved Edward on and brought Nketiah in, and the move for Nketiah should free up them to bring in Raheem Sterling on loan. And I know people. Listen, I'm not a fan of Raheem Sterling. I loved him when he was at Liverpool. I just think he's a little rat ever since, and I'll never sway away from that. But I actually thought when the rumour was he was leaving Arsenal or leaving City, I thought Arsenal was the perfect destination for him. I really did. I think the style of play Arsenal have and what he looks to do, I think he just would have went seamlessly from City to Arsenal. And all right, it's taken 2 seasons he's been at Chelsea, and now he's going in there. I think that's a decent move for Arsenal and a decent move for Sterling. Yeah. But look, Nketiah is gone, and I've seen a couple of Arsenal fans on Twitter today going, how have we not got rid of this fella? He was literally being offered around every fucking club going. He was linked with clubs every day of the week, but it always seemed to be, I think, about 120 grand a week he was on.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
it's the same problem Liverpool have with Nat Phillips. It's like you will be on a permanent loan until your contract
or you're going to subsidise some of his wages for the first year or two, and then we'll see where we go from there. But yeah, look, that's Arsenal's business done. I think they will get Sterling in. SV Wacker says,
can we laugh at them for a second with the injury? Because that's actually
Jesus.
I don't know.
They bring in this guy Moreno, and he comes in, and you're kind of going, oh, right, fair enough, midfield signing. And next one was like, yeah, fractured the shoulder. That's one of the centre halves just jumped off the top rope and landed on him, which was just madness. But listen, these things happen. It could happen now, it could happen in 6 weeks, but yeah, it's not the best start, is it? It's not the best start. Anybody else?
Crystal Palace deal for Eddie Nketiah is 25 million plus 5 million add-ons.
Right,
and that's gone through.
That's a really good deal for everyone.
That's a reasonable fee. That's a reasonable.
I think
fee.
Arsenal have got the better end of it, but it's a good deal.
Yeah, they needed him out the door. They needed that one done.
Yeah,
Palace needed someone up front too.
Yeah, especially if Edward goes, they needed a forward, and he will play up front. To be honest, the way the Palace is set up with that 4-2-2, playing 2 strikers, if you've got someone like Eze that can feed them, I still think they'll be a decent side. They'll be a tough test this season.
Nketiah is not a bad player. I think he comes to prominence the season before last when it was like they've Nketiah up front, and that was when Havertz. I don't know if Havertz was with him, but he wasn't having the best of times, and you're like, they kind of have Nketiah, and it was working for a while, and then it just stopped working, and it was like that doesn't work anymore, and you haven't really seen him.
Are you having a laugh? Ornstein has just literally come out and said now, Raheem Sterling arrives at London's Colony Training Centre to undergo a medical ahead of a proposed transfer from Chelsea to Arsenal. It's 10 to fucking 11.
Yeah, but
And
once
he's
you get
arriving for his medical now. Even if they got the deal sheet in, it has to be done and dusted and signed
yeah,
by
but
1 a.m.
If you get the deal sheet, and you get an extension, don't you?
It's only 2 hours. It's got to be signed, sealed, and done by 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about the medicals thing. They'll get in there, they get the deal sheet in, and they'll say it's done. And then you see the thing is they can just say it's done and then turn around and go, no, it's not. And they do get an extension, and the 2 hours will be enough. It will be enough to get it done. But the Sterling thing is a loan, isn't it? Because is there any obligation?
Season-long loan. Ornstein to say here, a season-long loan.
Yeah, because I think that the other thing for Sterling is I think he's looking at the contract he has and he's like, I'm out of fortune off these fuckers. You know what I mean?
70 million apparently.
If they want me to go, like, you know, they're gonna have to sort it out. Everton's Mason Holgate to West Brom loan is done. I just couldn't believe that fucker was getting him moved to Leon. I was like, no way. What's going on here? You know what I mean? He's fucking terrible. His biggest thing in his whole career was the time he pushed Firmino and thought he was a big fella. Yeah. So look, there's 6-7 minutes left. I'm sure Brian O'Sullivan's in now. There we go. Brian's in 7 minutes.
Wasn't James Ward-Prowse going to Forest?
Forest on a season-long loan. Yeah.
Yeah.
O'Shane says it looks like Chilwell is stuck at Chelsea there and frozen out of the squad, which is a bit mad. He was like literally captaining them at times last year, but this is the way it goes. Like, it just changes so far, and especially at Chelsea. Like,
Chelsea are just getting rid of all the top earners. Anyone who's earning high wage, get out the gap. And if they could have got Reece James out the door as well, if he wasn't injured, they'd have sold him as well. They're not interested in anyone who's at the club now who's on a high wage.
Yeah,
or it doesn't matter who you are.
David Roy feels that these deals between Leon and Everton are dodgy as hell. There's a rumour going around that Leon owner wants to buy Everton. And maybe he's trying to send them in a player there to try keep them, keep them afloat and make sure they kind of stay in the Premier League, because there'll be nothing worse than someone buying that club and then they go down. It's financial abyss. It really is.
Have you watched much of them? Have you watched much of the highlights of Everton? You were over there, so
I watched away at Spurs. They were awful, absolutely and utterly awful. And then the first game against Brighton, I actually watched a little bit of that. I had that on, and the thing about it was, like, they weren't too bad, but it's just so one-dimensional what they're doing. So one-dimensional.
They were probably the better side until they went 1-0 down against Brighton.
Yes, against Brighton. But then
they should have been ahead.
Yeah, and then, but to me, it's just, when you get a team that's up and coming, and they have like this new way of playing, and you're kind of going, geez, that's brilliant, and then people figure them out, right? Everton are the opposite. Everton are shy, and people like know they're shy, but then they figure out. I think people have figured out how bad they are, and what way they attack, which is literally diagonal balls and trying to win headers and trying to lumber in the box, and people are just dead wide with it now. So they actually look worse going forward than they did last season, and that's where it is. And people saying, oh, what about if they went down? Wouldn't that be terrible? No, it wouldn't.
Be a great Netflix series.
Oh, it'd be fantastic. I'd literally pay double for Netflix if it was brought out there. I'd literally ring Netflix and go, listen, tell you what, how much is it a month? 14 quid. There's 28 quid for the next year. And I'll literally
have you seen did you watch the Sunderland one?
No.
It is like watching The Office.
I heard it's so bad.
You just watch it going, you sort of look behind the scenes, go, it's professional football. It's just like, going, just throw another 10 million on that. You're going, what? It was hilarious.
John says Everton are dreadful. They were good for 20 minutes against Brighton. I agree. The fans at the train station, embarrassing, unbelievable. The club is a shambles, and they think the new stadium is going to fix all the problems. It's not going to fix all the problems.
The bit that I liked about that was when one of the fellas goes at Mope, so Mope tells him to fuck off, and he gets really offended that Mope tells him to fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't say that to me. Like,
and then Mope comes out with one of the best tweets I have ever seen. when he's leaving, when he does Andy Dufresne, literally crawling through tons of shit to get out of Everton. It was just the most fantastic. And do you know what? The tweet was fantastic, but I actually think the aftermath is better. Where literally Everton fans trying to tweet a comeback to it for the whole day, but not realising. Listen, he's literally upended us. He's literally upended your football club right there and there.
Sometimes you just stop the cap and just say,
you've done as good. Oisin says Calvert-Lewin to Chelsea was rumoured in the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
But Everton didn't get value in the deal, so turned it down. As a strange one. Everton looking for 25. Chelsea apparently looking for somewhere around the 10 to 12 million that Liverpool had got Chiesa for. So that did not happen. Any late ones? Any late deals?
Andre to Wolves has done 5-year deal.
Okay, 5-year deal. Yeah, that's confirmed. Is there any mad ones?
Celtic complete a move for Engels from
11 million
Augsburg,
from
11 million.
Highly rated.
He's
that's their
highly
record
rated,
sign.
Yeah.
That's their record sign.
He's really highly regarded as well.
And I think
if he has a good season at Celtic, he'll be gone back.
I think is it Augsburg they signed him for?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Augsburg didn't want to let him go, but he did want to go. Champions League football and all that. But apparently Augsburg have a sell-on, a percentage of the sell-on clause in there because they do really highly rate him. Celtic picked up a young left back from Barcelona as well, and they were looking at a centre half off Sheffield United as well. Before
over the line as well.
Yeah, so they've done a few bits, and I know it's not Premier League, but Celtic being in the Champions League and stuff like that.
The guy's name is Trusty.
Yeah.
A defender named Trusty.
Yeah.
I mean, they just write themselves like.
Celtic are signing the Dundee captain McGowan as well, and he's a serious player, says David Wright. I don't know, we've no position he plays, David Wright. If you want to fill us in on that, you can before we finish up. Let me see. Was there anything else that happened today that people mightn't have seen? I think we've covered literally every name in the world there.
Did anyone see the Europa League draw, the Conference League draw? Was there anything standing out in that? Is there any fixtures for Thursday night?
I'll tell you what's upsetting me immensely, right? They made the Champions League draw yesterday, and I was like, right, come on, throw the fucking fixtures out so I can start booking flights here for games, right? They're like, listen, we'll be back here on Saturday with them fixtures. Like, right, okay, well, they're going to tell us the time, aren't they? Like, you know. So my thing is, when these things come out, I have Ryanair open on a browser, Ryanair open on an app, and I'm like, different dates and ready to go. And then I was like, where's the fucking fixtures? And I was sitting having my dinner yesterday, and my wife was like, what are you doing looking at that phone? The draw's over. I was like, I'm waiting for the fixtures. And she was like, oh, okay. So then it was like, no, Saturday. And I was like, well, they'll tell us the time. No, we're not telling you the time. It's a surprise.
They'll just drop.
So what have I to do? Have I to fucking get up at 5 in the morning and just sit refreshing UEFA's website? What the fuck have I to do here? Because Ryanair are fuckers. They be watching at the same time as me.
I'd imagine 9 a.m. Central European time. So
do you? 8 a.m.
8 a.m. I reckon you want to be keeping an eye out from about 8 a.m.
Jesus. I have to get up that early.
Sorry, boss.
Oh, yeah,
I might give me fucking daughter me Ryanair login and go here, fill your boots.
Shamrock Rovers have got Chelsea away.
Yes, they have.
There's a Welsh side, isn't there, in Europe?
TNS.
As well?
Yeah, they're in that group.
I think they say it's the first time they've had an Irish side and a Welsh side in a European competition.
And a Northern Irish side.
And Northern Irish side, yeah. So.
And they're all in the same group, I think.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think, no, not in the same group. I think
similar fixtures.
Rovers fixtures, I think they end up playing in like 90 minutes up the road in Northern Ireland and about 50-minute plane journey in Wales. And then they've Chelsea, and then they have, I think they have, is it Rapid Vienna? One of the Viennas, one of them lads. They've not a bad draw for them, but
some good money spinners there.
But I don't know what way the TV stuff goes. I don't know whether that's a portion before it starts and that's part of your package when you qualify. But I know you do get points for or money for every point you earn, and that's where the likes of Rovers and Larne and TNS make their money if they can.
They got more fixtures this time around as well.
Yeah,
it goes right through.
It goes right through to January, and the way it is in Ireland, it's summer football, so the season actually runs from early March till the first week of November, I think.
November, yeah.
So what's going to happen is, I think they're going to end up playing the last UEFA Conference game, I want to say late January. So they've about 5 weeks down till the season starts. Which
Pitches would be
usually
lovely
brings... No, what happens is it usually brings your signings forward. So you start picking up signings, free transfers earlier on and bringing them into the following season and stuff like that. Brian O'Sullivan says -1 minute. So the transfer window has closed. Unless you're Raheem Sterling, that's doing the fastest medical known to fucking man, right? Like literally the belt on the fucking running machine, the smoke coming out of it. He has that big thing on him, like a man out of Batman, and he's just running like fucking. They're going, keep going, Raheem, it's grand. We've an extra 2 hours here, and he's like, this lot of me bollocks. But anyway, it looks like Raheem Sterling will go to Arsenal. That's it. We're done. I can officially tell you that we're not happy with that window and how it went. So before anybody tells us we're not. But big game Sunday. Big game Sunday.
Do you expect any changes?
Away tonight. You know what? I'm kind of looking forward to not talking about transfers and getting into football, and we'll have loads to talk about because I don't think Liverpool have a. I think Liverpool have a game every 4 days from now till the middle of January or something. It's insane.
I sent you the fixture list, didn't I? So you can see how horrendous it is.
Oisin says, right, a couple of late things. Oisin says, Reece Nelson off to Fulham now on loan. Their deal for Leon Winger Nuama fell through. Brentford's Onyeka to Augsburg. That's one there. Let me see. Yeah. Aidan says only 18 weeks to January. Fuck off, Aidan, will you? Jesus Christ.
Can't wait to talk about this contract.
Yeah, I'll order me sedatives.
Jesus. Do you know what? I forgot all about contracts. I forgot all about
Well, of course. I think the funny thing is
Hopefully Richard Houston
contracts can be done outside of the transfer window. Because they can be done any time of the year. But John O says these new contracts better be getting done now, especially after that window. I agree. I think, and you know what, whether the result of or the outcome of them are good, bad, or indifferent, I just like to know. And I know people that say to you, well, you've no right to know. Well, I know that, but I'm just being a bit nosy. Just let us know what the story is. Did anybody tell me where this Dundee Captain McGowan plays, David Roy?
He's a midfielder.
He's a midfielder, is he? Okay. Well, let's all aboard the McGowan train now. David Wright's giving us the big build-up. We'll be talking about him every week. We'll have a McGowan update on the channel. But looking at Sunday, no, Alisson, Trent, Robertson, Konate, Van Dijk. Be interesting with the Konate thing because Quanta did pick up a knock. He was on the bench the weekend. He didn't come on. Maybe they put him in there. I was a bit surprised to see him on the bench, but he'd probably go with the same four. I think he'd go with I actually think it'd be the same team. And why not? They're playing a game a week up until Sunday, and then there's an international break, isn't there, where we all have a lovely big break, and then we're back into it, and then it's a game every 3 days for the rest of our lives. So I would expect the same 11. Anybody different on that?
I don't think so.
The only question you could, if you're, depending on how they think United will go at us, whether you play Darwin instead of Jota.
Yeah, but I see that. But I think
that would be the only question. There's a discussion to be had over that.
But I have a feeling if I'm Liverpool, right, on Sunday, I'm giving them the ball.
Yeah.
Literally give them the ball and go, listen.
Slop wouldn't. Slop would.
Yeah, I think Slop.
I think he wants control too.
He does want control, but
I don't think Darwin screams control.
Yeah, he does want control, but they were actually really quite good at controlling the game without the ball against Brentford, and it was a real case of we just sit back a little bit here and we'll pick our moments to pressure, and then we'll attempt for you to make a mistake. And if you don't, fair play to you, we're going to reset and then we're going to try it again, and we're going to try it again in a different way. United are a football team that don't want the football. And I don't care what anybody says. They do not want that football. Like, literally, Brighton sat back in certain parts of that game at the weekend. I watched it in a pub in Liverpool. I was about 9 Guinness in, but I was still able to see the screen. But, honestly, when Brighton sat back, United literally passed in the midfield. Brighton came out a little bit, and United turned around and gave it to Onana, who kicked out the long diagonal ball. They don't want to play football. What they want to do is they want to either win the ball off you, 30 or 40 yards from your goal, or you to lose the ball 30 or 40 yards from their goal. In that little pocket, that 40 yards, either or that 20, 25 yards either side of the halfway line, that's where they want to try win it and hurt you. And other than that, honestly, they don't want the football. So if I'm going out there, do you know what I'm hoping? My biggest hope in all this, and it's something at times Klopp didn't do, where he played the occasion. When he didn't play the occasion at Old Trafford, he went and he beat them, and he beat them well. When he did play the occasion, they struggled. And I think last season, twice, I think they played the occasion. I think numerous occasions under Klopp, they played the occasion at Old Trafford. I hope Slot, with this kind of straight down the line, not bothered by anybody, we're going to do our job. I think if we go in there and don't play the occasion, I think we'll be absolutely fine. The only thing I would say is, don't go playing ropey balls around the back in the first 5-10 minutes. You don't want to get their crowd up. You don't want to give them no momentum in the game.
We've only got one win of the last 5, haven't we, against them? Our record in the last 5 is not great.
Yeah.
It all comes. So
yeah,
it'd be nice to get that hoodoo of not winning at Old Trafford off the back again. Was it the 5-0 the last time we won there?
Yes.
So it's been a little while.
2-23, was it?
Mm. So it's a little while since we've won there. So
give us a prediction.
3-1 Liverpool.
Nice.
Salah, Jota, and Gravenberch.
Oisin says, I'd wear to Leicester on loan. Confirmed Ward-Prowse to Forest. Confirmed. Aidan says, Gav, you wanted Ward-Prowse last summer. Did I? I don't think I did. We'll have to get our lawyers onto that, because I don't think I wanted Ward-Prowse.
I think Kev did.
There was definitely a shout somewhere for Ward-Prowse and Højbjerg.
And when I say get our lawyers onto it,
I was nowhere near Højbjerg anyway. That's for sure.
No, that was Emmett's fucking thing. And when I say lawyers, I mean I'll just ask Shawnee and he'll go, "Fuck off! You didn't say that." And that's how we deal with our legal issues. Let me read out a few. Antio says 3-0 with a Diaz hat-trick. 4-0 to Saskapoi. Last time Saskapoi done this, we lost, by the way. I'm just letting you know. Celebrates Kanate. And Trent 2-2, says Aidan. 2-0, Bob. Says Bob, Virgil and Macca. 6-0, we're getting them sacked, says Red Steve. Red Steve's only saying that in jest. Saskappoi's actually real when he says the 4-0. Saskapoi wanted, and that is Matt, he says, I wanted that fella, Ward-Prowse, last summer. 3-1 says Oisin. Salah, Jota and McAllister. Garnacho getting a consolation. 1-0, Nunes winner right at the end. Oh my God, Sam, listen, I'm telling you now, right? If Nunes scores the winner, right? Sam, the only way I can up that is Nunes comes on in 88, right? Doesn't touch a football at all, right? And then just bangs in a winner in the last minute. Honestly, call the season off. You can't get any better than that.
But also, because it's Nunes, they then stop for 10 minutes for a VAR check.
Yeah.
And then it's given so we can celebrate twice.
Yeah. Let me see.
And then he gets sent off for bussing bloody Ten Hag, because that's probably what he'll do.
John Brooks says, lads, I got signed off on a machine and work today. Does that count as a signing? Signed off on a machine, so you're not allowed to use the machine anymore. What's the machine?
I think he got a ticket. He got a ticket for it. He got his ticket for it.
I got signed off on a machine and work today.
Signed off on a machine, so he's
looking to buy a machine. He got the work. He got the okay to go ahead. Yeah, fuck it. What sort of machines I'm gonna bet? I'm gonna bet it's a print and press. That's what I'm gonna bet it is from John Brooks. And I'm gonna say you bought. I was gonna say Heidelberg, but I don't think that they're as popular as they used to be. Let's tell us, John. It's probably nothing like that. It's probably fucking anything. Could be anything. Richard says United won, Liverpool 3. Gav says 3-0. Zuba Mendy, Kvaratskhelia and Kudus with the goals. Nice, I like it a lot. Emmett says 3-1 Salah, Jota, Diaz, and that's about it.
I like the shout from Richard, the Olympico from Trent, for a goal against Onana.
Okay, yeah, I'm into that as well. I'm absolutely into that. Kev, I need a prediction of you before we go. And goal scorers.
Bog standard 2-0. I like the idea of keeping a clean sheet, and I think Luis Diaz keeps up his run of scoring. And it wouldn't surprise me to see Szoboszlai get one.
Okay, Ashley. I
think 3-1 is. that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go 3-1. I don't know. I feel like some sort of sloppy goal in the beginning to get us all nervous, and then we just completely kill them off in the second half.
Breaking news. Everton are trying to complete a late loan for Brozier. Deal sheet in, and they have until 1 a.m. to complete it.
Oh, that Brozier fella, like, what's the story?
He's injured until I think he's injured until the middle of October.
Okay. John Brooks hasn't told us what machine he's bought, but he does think it's going to be a draw at the weekend. Fuck off, John. Annoy me. Come on.
I reckon he's after buying it. He's got a dump. He's got his ticket for a dumper.
Okay. I reckon. No, it's definitely a printing press he's bought. 100%. I'm going with. I think they score. I think it's a model for a fucking game where a keeper or a centre half or somebody gives a loose ball and Rashford or fucking something scores. It's just the way the world works. I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool as well. I'm going to go Jota, Salah, and Trent to score. I fancy Trent to get one. That's where we are.
Looking forward to it already.
Best of luck to Broha going to the F. You can look forward to any time he enters a train platform. All the supporters will be there to greet him, which would be the crack.
Everyone will be really cheerful, we promise.
Yeah, 3-1 says Megan, Mo, Jota, and Gakpo, and Wango says Trina. A distillery machine. Oh my god, that's so good. So he's just making moonshine, and he's got signed off and work for it. He's told them in work, listen, we need this machine badly, and he's selling all the drink to the locals behind.
Where does he work?
I don't know. Where do you work, John? What distillery is it? We all just stand outside going, can we come in and see John's machine?
Can we be sponsored by you?
Yeah. Can we not get some sponsorship or something, John? No, from the distillery. I'll happily drink your distilled liquids whenever you feel like it. Right, we're out of here. That has been the last hour of the transfer window. We will be back on Sunday with a post-match reaction. We'll be also back on Sunday night with the Sunday night show, and then into next week. We'll see where we go because it's fucking international break. But we'll be in there doing more things. A lot of people have asked for quizzes. A lot of people have asked for drafts, and some people have asked for call-in shows. So you never know your luck on international break. That's been it. Thanks to Ashley. Thanks to Chris. Thanks to Kev. Thanks to everyone in the chat. He's been very, very. He fucking distills Baileys. Sorry, I was about to go. Baileys is what he makes.
Ooh. Yeah.
Heavy gear.
You got to be in the mood for it.
Yeah, you've got to be in
You got to be in a rare mood
shape.
for that.
Yeah.
Should we give it a go, Gav?
I'll have a go. Like Jesus,
Yeah.
like
Can we all come and have a go?
God loves a trier and all that. Like literally a big bag of oyster, Baileys, and 40 cigarettes, and I'm your like
Ashley's flying over for this.
Yeah, I could be like literally the tasting person going, yeah.
We make it into like desserts and stuff. Like fancy,
listen, I'm not talking about any more food.
cocktails.
If I see one more mention of lasagna, I swear to God, and people are so fucking weird.
We're definitely going to have chip chat next week.
Yeah, it'll have to be a member show though, because if I do this and release to everyone, they'll be like, what is going on here? And I just end up getting a barrage of abuse. Bailey's over ice, says Red Steve. Yes. Bailey's is rotten, says Gav. I go away with that. It's alcohol. It's great. Don't be minded. Keep it over. Right, we're out of here. I promise. Talk to you in a bit. Over and out.